Hey guys, Frank here, hanging out with Garrett
What's
again.
going on?
Today we are going to be talking about a few clips from the Mining Museum in Montana, as
Yep.
well as Gunslinger Gulch
Yes,
on the
absolutely.
T-shirt.
Wore the shirt today.
Very cool.
Represent.
So you were there for these investigations.
Yes, I was in Montana. Just a phenomenal group of people out there. Honestly, very welcoming, very open armed. Just really love the people out there. Looking forward to working with them further in the future. And in fact, we did have some more investigations with them that we'll have evidence coming out for even further down the line. So
There's a couple things we have to get to in between there, but there will be more.
yes,
And aside from that, this first clip comes to us from the Mining Museum, and nobody was present in the room at the time, as a
Right.
matter of fact. This was just a static camera that was shooting off into a wall,
Correct.
essentially.
yeah, we were in the engine room, or we had it sitting in the engine room, right? And again, nobody was in this area at the time. So when we did evidence review, it was kind of strange that we caught what we did. Something you don't hear when someone isn't in the room. So
Right. Well, let's take a look at that right now. So that was interesting because there was nobody in that room, and that to me sounds like either like a lens cap clacking or
Yep.
something like that.
yeah, or just some slight movement. I don't know. Sometimes, especially when you're investigating or you're doing like review, sometimes it's just those little things that you kind of pick out, and you're like, that's just something's off there. It's not where it's supposed to be. That doesn't make sense.
Especially in
crazy.
review when you're watching a static cam like that, because it's the same shot. If anything at all changes, you know.
Right, exactly. So you have, hours of for a static cam, hours of footage,
wall.
and then all of a sudden a strange noise comes in or movement or whatever. It's like, okay,
That's gonna. Yeah.
right.
It's always interesting. And the next clip we're going to watch is also taken in the Mining Museum, but this was a little bit different. This was during a sensory deprivation experiment.
Yeah, so it was actually in the same room, the same engine room, in a different part of it. And what we were doing was we were doing these sensory deprivation experiments where we would put sound deadening headphones on people and put blindfolds on, so they're deprived of all senses except for maybe smell. And yeah, they can't hear either. So, but we put multiple people under, not telling any of them what the other was experiencing. Or saying, and basically just saying whatever, like when you're like, if you're daydreaming, whatever you feel, whatever you hear, whatever you feel like you need to say, just spit it out. Now the weird thing was, on this particular clip, we had a lady that was doing this, and she says something, and you can actually hear an audible response outside of her sensory deprivation. So it's pretty cool.
That's
It's
pretty
really
cool.
cool.
You know what? Let's take a look right now.
Little girl. Singing. Little girl.
So that actually was pretty crazy. I've seen sensory deprivation experiments and stuff like that, but I've never seen anything where it correlates in that way, where you
Right.
have this actual piece of evidence that goes along with what they were talking about while they were under.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the sensory deprivation in and of itself was pretty weird, because we had people, stuff was correlating what they were saying, and they didn't even know.
What kind of stuff were they talking about that was matching up?
Yeah, so a lot of people mentioned people in black clothes, like at a funeral, like they kept imagining this happening. Loud noises, like, well, we were in an engine room, but they were imagining hearing like banging sounds and trains, the sound of a train, that sort of thing, and fields. I mean, just all kinds of different stuff. But it was weird because it was corroborated by later people doing the deprivation that had no clue what the other people had said. I mean, it's wild.
It's pretty
But
awesome.
then you get a response from something that's not somebody in the room, but you can hear it while they're doing it on the actual evidence. Awesome. Just awesome.
Pretty wild. So the last clip that we're going to do in this video, because this is actually going to be a little bit of a split. These three investigations happened over a single weekend in Montana, And there just wasn't room to put it all into one video because there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened at the Dumas brothel. So that's going to be the next 2 videos, I think, if we can split it up that way.
Yeah.
That's the plan. So get ready for that because that place was insane.
Yes, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
yeah.
We have a clip from Gunslinger Gulch.
Mm-hmm.
And this was you and Ben together.
Yep.
So I'll let you go ahead and take this one and explain.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were at Gunslinger Gulch, and if none of you are familiar with the fairly new show Ghost Town of Terror, the family there invited us in to do an investigation and to lead a group there for training and whatnot. And there was a point in the investigation where Ben and I decided to step aside. We had begun to start establishing that there was a particular spirit in a particular building called the Log Cabin that they have out there, because it's actually a bed and breakfast as well. They're setting it up for that. It's really nice.
That's awesome.
But this particular building, there was a spirit there that was not particular to having people in there, and it was taking to targeting certain people. So Ben and I said, okay, we're gonna get in there. We're gonna try to communicate with this spirit and see what we can come up with. And so we did, and it was an interesting experience. Some of it we didn't get caught on tape, a lot of personal experiences, but we did
Isn't
get
that
this
the way, though?
right. It's typically how it goes, right? But yeah, so we were in there, and we did get one pretty direct response that was pretty clear. So
we are going to take a look at that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make a knocking sound? Can you say something? Ooh.
Oh, hello. Up top again.
Thanks for doing that. Can you make a knocking sound? Can you say something? Ooh.
Oh, hello. Up top again.
Thanks for doing that.
You really got to love stuff like that, where it's this perfect combination of call and response. And it almost never happens that way.
Right.
You'll get a strange sound, or you'll ask for something and nothing will happen, and then the strange sound is just something else.
Right.
But it seems like a direct response. This seems like like a bang in response to what Ben was saying. And that's those little teeny tiny moments as an investigator. It's mwah, 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 mwah. It's beautiful.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, no, for real. I mean, like you said, sometimes you'll ask for something and get nothing, or you'll get something and
never have asked for it.
Right, exactly. But when you get both and they're so good, so close, so accurate, it's something else. So
it's fantastic. And that is going to be the last clip for this video. So stay tuned. We're going to be back with the Dumas video coming up very soon.
Yes.
But in between now and then, well, not in between now and then, but coming up at the end of this month,
right,
we have a few more live streams, actually. We're going to be live streaming from these investigations during the investigation. There's a chance for everybody to participate and hang out, and it's actually a really cool experience. So the next ones we have coming up are on June 24th and 25th.
Yep.
We are going to be at Middle Point High School,
or just
Middle Point High School, and then Williams County Jail.
Yes.
And those are in Ohio?
I believe so.
They're in Ohio. So stay tuned for all that. Grab some tickets for those because you're not going to want to miss it.
Yes. Phenomenal stuff have been coming out of the lives, so check those out for sure.
And with that, we'll see you at the Dumas.